Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Soul Fuel, episode 4. I'm your host, Shabir Hassan, and today the topic is going to be about youth problems, youth issues, youth living in the 21st century, what's going on, and how do they overcome these problems. And inshallah, we're going to discuss this. So we have our two guests with us today, which is Brother Tariq Hussain. So he's an experienced youth worker.
Yeah.
So Assalamu alaikum, Brother Tariq.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are you today?
Alhamdulillah, we've had a good day, we've had a busy day today.
So we'll talk more about that inshallah in detail. Yeah. And then we have Brother Imran Hussain. You're not related, are you? Tariq and him, same surname. So we got Brother Imran Hussain from Great Harwood, near Blackburn area, and mashallah he's a barber as well. So, and he does a lot of community work, and people, while he's cutting hair, as it is, when we go to a barber, I'm sure a lot of people go to barbers just to talk about their problems and issues, not really for a haircut, because they got nobody to talk to. And this is Brother Imran. And isn't that the case with Imran?
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah.
We'll talk about this more in detail, inshallah. So welcome to the podcast, Brother Imran Hussain from Great Harwood.
Welcome. Hello.
Inshallah, now we're going to play some video clips of yourself doing the activities, and so the viewers can see this, inshallah. So inshallah the video
هل لك سر عند الله بينك أنت وبين الله هل لك صدقات تخفى لا يعلمها إلا الله هل لك سر عند الله بينك أنت وبين الله هل لك صدقات تخفى لا يعلمها إلا الله قصص لا تكشف إلا بكتابك حين ترى الله ما أحراك بهذا أن يكبر قدرك عند الله قصص لا تكشف إلا بكتابك حين ترى الله ما أحراك بهذا أن يكبر قدرك عند الله هل لك سر عند الله بينك أنت وبين الله هل لك صدقات تخفى لا يعلمها إلا الله قصص لا تكشف إلا بكتابك حين ترى الله ما أحراك بهذا أن يكبر قدرك عند الله هل لك سر عند الله بينك أنت وبين الله هل لك صدقات تخفى لا يعلمها إلا الله هل لك سر عند الله بينك أنت وبين الله هل لك صدقات تخفى لا يعلمها إلا الله قصص لا تكشف هل
MashaAllah, welcome back to our viewers. So inshallah we're going to discuss some topics regarding the youth, inshallah. So first, what is this organization called?
The organization is called Prophetic Youth.
MashaAllah.
Basically, Prophetic Youth, we got the name because it was an inspiration that we want those youngsters to follow the path of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam or the Sunnah, and the youth because we are working on the youth of today, which is, I'd say the age range, really anyone who's 30 and below, to be honest, we would class as youth.
MashaAllah. So in regards to like the background, where did it all start from, and you know, how did it come about? How many years has it been running as well?
Originally, we probably be running now, I'd say, just under about 10 years. In the 10 years that we've been running, it's like it's moulded and changed over the years into Prophetic Youth. I think at one point we had it as an organisation called Unity Team. But in the end, as we started to grow a little bit, we decided that Prophetic Youth was the best name for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went ahead from there.
So we've seen this, the activities that you did, mashallah, the viewers were seeing this as well. They look really good, you know, and we'll bring Brother Imran into this as well, or as people say, Ime. So you've been to one of these activity retreats. How, you know, that was probably your first or second time knowing about Prophetic Path, and it was earlier on in your life, like meaning your life of like joining the youth activities and stuff, that you joined in these activities. You're fairly new to this, so when you came into that environment, how did you feel, you know, and what was the thing that stood out to you the most?
Well, to be fair, when I first did the spiritual retreats, after that I ended up going to the proper retreats when you go out, and we went to Doncaster, didn't we, Tariq? And he's from there, and Brother Shabs, I were with you as well. And to be fair, it was quite cool, because a lot of people think when they're going to do something with the mosque, it's going to be very like strict, and you have to sit there with a hat on, and nobody can say anything and stuff like that. But it's all about like gelling in with people, and I don't know, just relaxing and chilling, you know. And it's all about relating to each other, you know, discussing problems if you've got any problems.
So was it like an Islamic environment, meaning that, you know, people have this stigma, or if I go to a mosque or a Islamic organization, and they just like brainwash you, or like, you know, just bombard you with Islamic stuff?
Oh, no.
All right, okay.
Not at all, because to me, it was like, it was cool. You know,
Yeah.
you could just like relax.
So
put your feet up.
less Islamic stuff and more based on activities.
Oh yeah, of course, but it's all about like teaching you to love each other, and you know, it's all about taking away all the negative feelings and just relaxing and helping each other out.
So like character building, yeah.
Yeah, character building, yeah.
Right, okay. So out of the activities that you did, what was sort of like your favourite one?
When we climbed up on top of the rope swing thing, and then
Oh, yeah, the high ropes.
yeah, and then you had to bring yourself back down. And I've gone up halfway up, and Brother Osman, the boxer,
Yeah.
he was there, and we've had a race up that he's beat me, but I've got scared at first, and then I've ended up coming back down, and then like all the team, they said, come on, you've got to do it. So it's all about everybody just pushed me towards to do something where I probably couldn't do on my own.
So do you think there's a lot of team building as well? And like when new people come in, do they feel uncomfortable or comfortable?
Well, from what I can gather, in my own experience, that was the first time I'd gone to one of these retreats, and everybody just pushed each other towards the limits, you know, and it was like everybody just got on.
Okay. There's some comments from our viewers, inshallah, so I'm going to, inshallah, read this out. So we have Khalid bin Walid. I love Prophetic perfume. It gave me love when I was going through depression. So alhamdulillah, as the viewers can see, that activities and being in that environment helps your youth as well. So if you are a parent and you're watching this now, then please do send your children to Prophetic Path Youth, PP Youth as they call it as well. And inshallah, you know, and you do have free activities as well, don't you?
Yeah, we do have free activities.
Right.
Yes.
So, is there weekly activities? We have free ones?
We have the activities on a Saturday, which is boxing, 6:30 to 7:30 for an hour. And on
So Saturday, 6:30 to 7:30 in Bolton.
Yeah.
Where is it based?
It's based in Bolton at Premier Gym.
Premier Gym. So 6:30 to 7:30 every Saturday, free of charge. Premier Gym in Bolton near Castle Street. And what else? What other activities do you do?
The other activities we do on Sunday is football. We book out our own private pitches. And the reason we book out our own private pitches is so that the pitches that we use are only available to us. It's same with the boxing, you know, we take money from our own pockets to put towards these activities which we pay on a monthly basis, or have an arrangement with these centres. And then those are two of the activities we're doing at the moment. We are looking at towards in the future, hopefully horse riding or archery also, and other activities that we can expand
You
on.
know, there's a lot of organisations like, yeah, go on, Jimmy. Yeah.
See, what me and Tarek we did just before the COVID, we'd organised like a climbing, like an indoor climbing thing,
Right.
and we actually spent money ourselves, like, you know, for the posters and stuff like that as well, you know, because we were trying to like minimise the cost for others.
Yeah.
But then sadly with the COVID and stuff, then everything just went
Yeah. I want to ask a question on this to both of you, inshallah. In regards to like what you just mentioned, like every organisation, what I can see personally, you know, obviously I was involved with the youth, you know, for a long time. What I can see personally is that every youth, has their own, like, sort of like they stick to their own culture. So for example, you go to football pitches, you'll see Pakistani youth with Pakistani youth.
Yeah.
You go to a football pitch, you see Indian youth with Indian youths, and then you see Bangladeshi children will playing with their own kind, and then you see Somalians playing with their own. So why do you think this is? Why is there no like culture? Why do they keep it culture based rather than, you know, a youth is a youth? It doesn't matter what background and culture you come from. Why do they put this stigma, you know, around the youth? So now the youth will only play with their own kind, and this becomes problematic. Yeah.
I think what it is with that, people stick to their own kind, if you know what I mean, you know, but like we organisations like the Prophetic Path, the Prophetic Youth, it brings in everybody because it's all about unity, innit? You know.
So, Tariq, is that what all about Prophetic Path? Do they stick to a certain culture, youth, or is it like do you welcome everybody in?
Truthfully, our organisation, we welcome everyone. We've had Pakistanis, Indians, Bengali, we've had Somalian brothers, we've had we have some lads who come who are not even
Eastern European as well.
Eastern European.
When we did the bike ride.
We have lads who are non-Muslim. Some come and they're interested, and even their parents come and they're interested, and they're like, wow, is this what you lot offer? And we're just honest with them, who we are, what we offer, and to be honest, they're actually quite amazed.
Did you have some non-Muslim? I know you did an activity just before you came here. Did you have some non-Muslims in today?
Yeah, 2 lads came in today.
So
yeah.
two non-Muslims came. So Prophetic Path is unique to the sense that it opens its doors for everybody. It's not like, for example, linked to certain cultures or organisations. It's open for everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, it's open for everyone.
MashaAllah. So anyway, back to Khalid bin Walid. He mentioned about he was going through depression, and this helped him a lot. And this is just absolutely amazing, because a lot of the youth will go through some type of depression in life. There's exams, and there's problems, family issues, and there's always going to be some kind of issues and problems, whether it's friend issues or whatever. And why do you think depression comes in to the youth? I mean, there is I've had cases where Muslim youth as young as 18 wanted to commit suicide.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the reason why do you think that depression kicks in?
See, what I think of that, I've come across Muslims, non-Muslims, there's certain criteria of people wanting to commit suicide, wanting to self-harm and stuff like that, but a lot of it, they don't have much to do on the streets anymore. There's nothing out there for them. So this is why we, as a team, we've got to build up and trying to do good for others.
Do you think it's just basically boredom? Is that what you're saying?
I believe so. That's my own personal opinion. I could be wrong, but
what about yours?
I think that with the youth, first of all, going to the first point that you made was that about multiculturalism or mixing. One thing that I have noticed, which, to be honest, with many of the youth, just the first point that you were touching on, was that many of the youth I've noticed when it comes to doing haram or wrong, if you were to put 10 lads, Indian, Pakistani, Bengali, Somalian, even non-Muslim, all in there, and they were doing drugs, for example, or drinking alcohol or going to the nightclub, no problem. You put them in the masjid and the Somalis will go to the Somali masjid. The Pakistanis will mainly go to the Pakistani masjid, say with the Indian community. So within our own communities, what I've noticed is that many of the lads who will mix together when doing haram, and when it comes to doing halal, they'll separate. It's quite, and we just can't understand it. It's shocking.
And what does it help as well, because you've got a big culture difference now, say with the elders.
Yeah.
Of I'm going off the Pakistani, Indian, Bengali culture. The elders, they're still stuck in the ways where they want to be running the mosques and stuff like that, but they need to give others a chance now, because there's a big culture difference. How they operated certain things back in the day was a lot easier and better for them.
You think there's a generation gap then?
Oh, massively, yeah. Because
so this generation gap is affecting the youth, because you don't see many masjids or that doing youth activities and stuff. I mean, even though that the big masjids, the big organisations and stuff, and plenty of money as well.
Yeah, of course.
But we don't see any youth activities.
Now, I'm not just trying to say this just to.
Shoot the arrow. Just shoot the arrow, as I say.
No, I'm not trying to say this just to make our masjid look good, but I'm 38 years old now, and there are a few masjids here and there who actually do things for the youth and stuff like that. But our lot, because there's a lot of young people involved, you know what I mean? They're progressing more by getting people off the streets, getting them off the drugs, alcohol, messing about with women. There's loads of stuff, but it's how you communicate with people. And, you're going to get some of the Asian guys, like our elder lot, they can't speak a word of English. And the other person can't understand nothing, and then you can't get through to them, can you? You know what I mean? It's all about understanding. But our elder lot, this is where they need to sit back now and just push other people forward.
I think, for example, you mentioned suicide.
Yeah.
we've dealt with some young lads, some cases. The thing is, it sounds silly, obviously, for us to say it, but you know, he might say something as a young lad that, oh, I was in a relationship with a girlfriend. She's left me and I feel sad and I feel suicidal. Another person might be a drug case, or he may owe someone money. That person he may owe money to is a drug dealer, he's pressuring him, he might act violent towards him. And the problem is with these young lads, they don't feel that they can go sometimes to even their own parents, and they
Absolutely.
and they can't go to the masjid, because the last time I spoke to one lad, and you know, we were talking about this, and he goes, if I went to the masjid, this is coming from a young lad, this is a young boy, because if I went to the masjid, he goes, the imam of that mosque, maybe because he's not understanding what I'm trying to ask for help.
Yeah, because he
might do an announcement against me.
No, the thing is, you know, with the organisation...
Imagine that.
If I said to him, don't sit with that boy, he's
I know, but
taking
Tariq,
drugs.
you know, like with the organisation, though, the way it's all set up,
Yeah.
a lot of the older lot, they don't know what happens on the street, so they've never experienced stuff like that. So
you're saying, for example, an imam will go and study, and then, you know, they might be from back home, whatever, they come into the masjid.
they're not streetwise, are they?
And that's it.
Because they're not streetwise, they don't know how to respond to that, and that's, like they'll say, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that, but there's many channels just to where you can go through and get through to people.
Do you think, like, for example, I was dealing with a young man, a young youth, and he's a little bit older now, so I asked him in regards to masjid, yeah, what do you think, you know, when you look at the masjid, you know, what does it remind you of? So, few years, like he was mentioning, a few years ago, he was mentioning that, like, I look at the masjid, when I go past, I get anxiety, yeah? So I said, why do you get anxiety? You know, masjid is Allah's house, is a place of remembrance, you know, why do you get anxiety? He says, Brother Shabir, when I walk past the masjid, all I remember is the beatings I used to get in the masjid. I didn't find no compassion, you know, and I had problems and issues, and I had nobody to talk to, and you know, and in the masjid I was getting beaten up and stuff.
This is what I mean, you know.
And then a few years later, he became part of Prophetic Path Youth, started helping, came to these retreats, saw this love and compassion given by the other brothers and people his age as well. And then he started loving the masjid, started coming into the masjid, started attending the gatherings, and started doing the zikr and everything.
Yeah. See, people dealt with certain things in a different way, whether it's a church, synagogue, or a mosque. You know, back then, they dish out good tidings, wouldn't they? But it's not about good tidings, it's about showing love, innit? You know what I mean? Because if you get a ball and you throw it up against the wall, it's going to come back to you. So if you throw hate against the wall, it's going to come back to you. And so is love, right? So, you know, you've got to weigh it up, you know what I mean? Love is much more powerful than hate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, all right, they did get a good tiding on that. They didn't mean to show that type of behaviour, but at that time, this is what it was, weren't it? But this is, see, I've noticed, you know, with the masjid which we attend, it's like when I've known people who are drug addicts, who've done other things and stuff like that, right? And when they've been back on the drugs and they've got back and they spoke to the teachers and stuff like that, the mentors and stuff like that, and they said, listen, all right, what's happened is happened. Just keep trying, keep trying. I know numerous people who've actually come off the drugs, come off gambling and stuff like that, but it's not like that they're going to get a gun to their head and that's it, right? That's it. You're going to go to the hell. Like forever, you know, but it's not about that, is it? It's all about getting through to people through the right channels.
Do you think the masjids, they need to do more work in regards to the youth, and do you think that collaboration within the masjids, it's a must?
Yeah, because what they need...
I mean, one thing I want to just point on that, there's no, you know, unity regarding the, you know, when it comes to the moon and stuff like this. So do you think we can get some unity within, like, working for the same goals towards the youth?
I'm hoping so, inshallah, you know. But going back to what I keep saying, you know, about this unity thing and all that kind of... It's because of the different cultures, you know, the elder lot, they need to set back, because they can't get through to the youth of today. We all know what's happening on the streets today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's okay for people to go and give dawah as drug dealers, for people can work for them, giving dawah so people can actually buy the drugs off them and committing other certain acts. But then when it comes to giving dawah properly,
do you know one thing?
right? Yeah, you know what I mean. Like when it concerns deen, The elders, they struggle to speak English. So how they're going to get through to people? You know, that's my biggest concern.
That's very true.
True.
You know, truthfully, even a lot of the people on the streets, a lot of the people who are doing drugs, deep down inside them, they also have the love of Allah and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, but they just don't know how to channel it.
One is don't know how to channel it. Two is, you know, giving dawah is an invitation. You know, it's mad how if you were to invite people to your wedding, you will go door to door. I've seen it. You know, I'm married myself. You will go door to door inviting people to your wedding. You will go door to door inviting people to your son's first birthday or your daughter's. But when it comes to giving the message of Islam, it has, for some reason, a negative mindset with some people. Some people nowadays, they think, oh, when you come to knock on the door, you come to ask for money. The first thing they do is get a pound out.
But do you think the parents are worried because they might not know who you are and they're reluctant to send your children because they say, oh, what if my child, gets brainwashed, whatever? Do you think that's a setback? And another thing is, what about in terms of, obviously you do free activities, but in terms of like money as well, because a lot of organisations charge money. Do you think money is a setback? And the first question is whether they don't know who you are. You're a complete stranger to them.
Yeah.
And recently, in the news, you hear about children running away. The recent, 10 or 11 years old?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, from Bolton.
Yeah, I've heard
Oh,
that.
right, yeah. Young girl, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm saying, that, why are they running away? Do you know what I mean? We're not talking about the whole issue of running away.
We're just talking in general.
But so how would you build that trust within the parents that, you're genuine, you want to help?
Well, the first thing is I have to be honest. What parents need to understand is that yes, we do brainwash people. You're right. We brainwash people to believe in the truth, to believe in the right things. Either that or the only other person who's going to brainwash your children is shaitan. Now, shaitan can come through a person off the street. It can come through some of their friends. Sometimes it can even be a family member. We've had cases where, one brother is doing drugs and the other one's trying to get away from that lifestyle. He's told us, can you please help me? And, he separated himself from that and that situation to, save himself. So yeah, if you want to know if we brainwash people to become better children, better sons and daughters, to become better husbands to their wives.
Absolutely.
And we brainwash the lads to become, better brothers or better neighbours with the neighbours or people around them. So yes, we do. That's to answer the first
we brainwash. Well, we're trying to brainwash people to have better characters.
To do right.
You know what I mean? Just to build their own character up, just to become good. But when it comes to brainwashing and stuff like that, I've never really come across anybody's parents saying, they're going to go and get brainwashed.
Do you know what the biggest brainwash tool is? The biggest brainwash tool?
Phones.
There you go. That if parents are worried about brainwashing, then I think you should be more worried about them being on their phones constantly. I mean, every parent knows this, and for the youth as well. Message for the youth that you should give time to your parents, to your families as well, because one day they might not be there for you.
Absolutely.
And then what you would have wasted all that time on your phones and social media and watching movies, Netflix and everything, where you could have had some time, with your parents and stuff. And many people get caught now on social media grooming, young children and stuff. And so you got to be very, very careful these days. I mean, like Tariq mentioned, Tariq and his organisation, the brothers that are helping him, mashallah, they do help in every sort of way, whatever the issue, whatever the problem, mashallah.
It's even like when children are having issues with the parents and stuff like that. There's people who've actually come to us and said, listen, I'm having issues with my family and all that.
Do you think the masjids are not qualified as well? That's another issue. Are they ready to tackle issues with, for example, somebody's got a drug issue, yeah? If somebody's got is in a relationship, illicit relationship, yeah. Somebody's got other addictions, yeah. Do you think I'm not targeting any masjid, but I'm talking about all masjids. Do you think they have some part of section where they have professional people in to help with this situation?
Well, well, from where I come from, the area I come from, Blackburn, Accrington, Great Ormond and stuff like that, they don't round here.
They don't.
No, and
Through my experience, I would like to say that the best types of people in these situations to help other people off the streets are those people who have been involved in drug dealing. Those people who are ex-alcoholics, ex-drug addicts. The reason is because, as we describe it, they know how the darkness feels, or that sin feels, or the pain that it causes thereafter. You know, I've seen people with my own eyes, witnessed it, people who were heroin addicts who have stopped, shaking in a corner, screaming in pain, and it's you know, these are real things that happen to people. You know, I've seen a young 15-year-old boy once, I remember, you know, he used to buy drugs, and every week he'd buy about 150, 200 pounds worth of drugs, and he's 15. So, you know, one day we went to help his mother, a single mum. This is a single mum, Muslim lady, looking after only one son. I went there to help the situation between these drug dealers to see what's going on. He's paying 150, 200 pounds out per week to buy drugs. He was smoking marijuana at the time. This is a young 15-year-old boy. Went to the house, his mum come out the door, she had a black eye. You know, she come out, old lady with a black eye, her son was 15-year-old boy, and asked her what's happened. She goes, every week my son beats me up. And he takes my money off me, and I work in a factory, and that's the only money I have to survive and pay the bills. Now, to be honest, at the time, we became very aggressive towards that young lad and agitated by what he had done with his mother. And even at that time, one thing that I'll never forget, his mother still protected him. 100% she would have done anything for her son at that time, as many parents would. What these young children need to understand nowadays, that your parents are your best friends. You know, I'm a 30-year-old man now. I'm married, I have children. You know, you say to people that, yeah, I've got boys, these are my boys for life. You know, I've met many of the boys who have been arrested, done jail a long time. You ask them, truthfully ask them. You ask them who goes every single week and visits you, they'll say, my mum or my dad. Every week, without failure, mum or my dad. It won't be the boys. It's the truth. And on top of that, when people come out of jail, the way that they glorify that they've been doing drugs, or they've done armed robbery, or maybe they've assaulted someone, they glorify these things. Now the thing is, when they glorify these things that they've done harm upon someone else, they don't tell you the bad bits about it. You're going to eat food which, to be honest, it's not the same as your mother's cooking at home. The second thing, you're going to sleep day in, day out with a bunch of other men. And those other men that you're going to be with are criminals, you know, as well. And maybe you've done one bad thing which has landed you in jail. But those other people, they might be regular criminals. Meaning they are in there, in and out all the time. Do you really want to live your life with people like that? I'll be honest, no you don't. Have I met people who have come in and out of jail, who have been drug dealers, who have changed their entire lives, now pray 5-time namaz every single day? Yes. 5-time namaz, they pray every single day. They work halal. Some of them are businessmen. Some of them are on the way to getting married. Did we personally help those people? Yes. Whether it was 11 o'clock at night or 2 o'clock in the morning, they're ringing us for help, we've gone out and helped them. I've seen it personally myself. So Prophetic Path Youth is something that's there. It's available for anyone who wants the help. Anyone who asks for help from us, we will help that person. We've gone to people's houses who have needed help, and we've told them other people to look, these people will change their lives, leave them alone. And they've made a change. Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah.
But we need more of this, don't we? You know,
Yeah.
we need more of this organisations, you know, just to spread, and you know, and so everybody can try to do the bit, you know.
Inshallah. Anyway, a couple of shout outs now before we proceed further, inshallah. So Muhammad Ibrahim, it says, MashaAllah, YO3129, Salam Ime. A couple of fans there, Ime.
My mate Madge from Accrington as well.
Yeah, always, Sajid, yes, Ime. Halim AK, Salam Tariq.
Did you see the two Muslim night riders? They're brilliant. I've seen them online.
Halim, yeah, well, I'm going to touch on that as well.
I've seen them in the newspaper. They were brilliant.
Halim AK, yes, Shabir, I've got it there.
Yeah, Nazakat, Jack. He's called Jack.
Yeah. Nazakat.
Jack. His nickname's Jack.
Jack. Jack. Okay. So, Halim aka Yes Shabir, Aisha Hassan with a smile, Sadia Hussein, mashallah, Care Homes, mashallah, Ali Abbas, mashallah, Ime, again Ime, Carla Higham, Ime,
No, Carla Hayam.
Hayam, sorry.
Yeah, Carla and Jimmy.
Right, okay. 2 Muslim night riders, mashallah, beautiful program. We love Muslim night riders. Honestly.
Yeah, they're very cool guys.
I mean, what they've done, where they've started from, and what they've done is something that is very praiseworthy, mashallah, because they started from scratch, nothing, and 2 brothers got up and said, okay, we're going to ride bikes, you know. So they got up and they started riding bikes, and suddenly, you know, the social media platform, they used to go all around Manchester showing people the history. Imagine if you're living in Pakistan, India, and you're looking at you're looking at England. You know, like people, when you go back home, they say, oh, what's England like? What's England like? We want to know what's England like. You know, they don't know it's hard work. We got to get up early in the morning and do like 40, 50 hours work. And, you know,
bills and taxes.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
One time, when I was abroad, they were saying, there's like homeless people and poor people in England. They said, get away, you're lying to me. You know.
Yeah, they won't believe
I said,
it.
they are. You know, so then Muslim Night Riders, they showed us what's happening in Manchester, you know, brought in culture, showing people exactly what's going on, and then doing different activities, boat riding and everything. And I urge everybody who lives in Manchester, there's something there for you. You know, we live in Bolton and Blackburn, and our activities are mostly based around
Great Howard.
Great Howard. Yeah, mostly our activities at the moment are based in Bolton. But there's people who come from Manchester who wants activities in Manchester. Just message Muslim Night Riders YouTube, you know, join, subscribe onto them, and then you can see their activities as well.
Yeah, inshallah, we have better luck. We're going to be starting something like this in Great Howard as well.
Yeah, but bike riding and stuff.
Like activities and stuff like that. Maybe on a Sunday, you know, every few weeks on a Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, just to get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
You know, anybody and everybody's welcome.
Yeah,
you know?
brilliant.
Yeah, so.
I mean, I'm going to touch on that as well, because you've done quite a bit of community work as well, where you've brought people in together, isn't it? I mean, I've seen one you did in the square itself.
Yeah, that was the community iftar.
Community iftar.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, my mate Farkan, he arranged it. Another lad called Asad Mirdad, he arranged that as well, and we just tried to get like all communities together. And like when we were breaking our fast, let's say. Was it 9:30, 10:45?
Yeah.
And like even the non-Muslims, like everybody just gathered and just wait for that minute, you know, when we were about to break it, and they'd all have like a date or a piece of fruit inside the mouth, and we'd all like break our fast together.
So even all the non-Muslims joined in, yeah?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it was good, you know.
But you must be quite popular in Great Howard, because you're a barber as well, you know, really. So, you know, if I don't go to that invitation, then he's going to ruin my hair.
you know everyone's business, innit?
No, to be fair though, a lot of people, they distributed a lot of food as well, you know, and it was good because everybody was just sharing it on Facebook. You know, to be fair, Farkan, my mate, he did a lot of the work, you know, a lot of the footwork and stuff. So hats off to him as well, really. Mine was just because everybody knows who I am, being a barber, so everybody thought I did the work, but I didn't really do much. But it was him.
Have you given? Did you do an event where you did homeless haircuts as well?
Yes. I've done,
mashallah.
Yeah. So I've done homeless haircuts with the Prophetic path. I've done like the marathon, which yourself did as well. We did the bike ride from Bolton to Manchester as well.
The marathon. How long was the marathon that you did?
Oh mate, it took forever and a day.
Yeah.
These guys.
Actually, me and Amy, we were roommates all throughohout the marathon.
Not me. I wouldn't do it. I think it was like 23.5 miles these lot ran.
26.2. Sorry.
26.2 miles.
26.2 miles. Yeah.
3 miles off us.
And then with the bike ride, what we did, right? It was 250 mile bike ride, but because we took a few dodgy turns and that, it must have been nearly 300. Man.
I mean, it was the whole team, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, like other brothers involved as well, and mashallah, you raised a lot of money for charity as well.
How much did we raise?
Was it the Bag Welfare Trust? Isn't it?
Yeah, that's part of the Bag Welfare Trust. But like the
I think you lot raised about 50 grand was the aim, and you doubled it.
Or,
I think
no,
it was
for-
120 grand for the bike ride.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think just over 100 for.
No,
the
I'm sure
marathon
it was 121 grand for the bike ride.
Yeah, you did bigger than
No,
that.
no,
Alhamdulillah.
something like that anyway. And it was
Yeah.
in your 120 odd grand for thingy, what's it called? For the marathon as well, you know. But like then again, you know, because we advertised it on Facebook, like, you know, you had people like, everybody was just chucking money at us, you know.
Mashallah.
My mate Carla and Jimmy, they threw a lot of money for the bike ride as well as the.
And it's not something like, for example, yeah, the money. Nearly 100% of it goes to charity. It's not.
Yeah, 'cause it's
there's no
100%.
admin costs and
No.
stuff like this. They don't put them in the back pockets.
No, 'cause
there's
it's
no
100%
wages.
donation
all,
policy,
all
innit?
voluntary basis, isn't
Yeah.
it? MashaAllah,
Yeah.
that's absolutely amazing. Anyway, next on to Ali Abbas, MashaAllah, Ime again, Ime. Najish Ali, MashaAllah. Rahim Khan, MashaAllah. Shoaib Ali, yes, Ime.
Shobo.
Yeah,
Not sure
always
about that.
Sajid, yes, Ime. Zaid Sabir or Sabir, yes. Now, Mr. Ime, it's been a long time, bro. You know.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah. So Ulfat Hussain, mashallah, my Ime, bro. You seem to be quite popular, yeah.
Amy, you need to get the events to start getting up
That's
there.
what dodgy haircuts I'll give everyone.
Dodgy haircuts. Khalid bin Walid, Prophetic Path is more like a family, mashallah. The kind words from brother Khalid. Asif Zaman, mashallah, Ime.
Assalamu Asif, you okay?
Looks like you've been advertising more than us.
No, I haven't.
Yes.
Yeah, so Saqib, Javid, yes, Imi, Shoaib Ali, Imi, stop playing with your phone. Carla, haha, I agree, Saqib. Top guys, continue your good work. This is from Carla. Top guys, continue your good work. You're obviously helping others. Well done, keep it up. You're doing good work. Khalid bin Walid, I'm mixed race. Prophetic Path doesn't care about race. Mashallah, what you mentioned.
Yeah.
Anybody and everybody is welcome. You know, it doesn't matter to us. Muslim Night, mashallah, you guys are doing this fantastic job, really bringing young people to positive response and engagement. Again, if you're in Manchester, please, if you want to travel to Bolton, then come to us. If you want to stay in Manchester, then two Muslim Night Riders is where you want to be. You know, they'll make your day fun and active. Danny, Flood, yes, Imi, yes, Yas Akhtar, mashallah, Imi, Carla again, Imi, that's absolutely true, nothing for children to do these days. The boredom, isn't it, what you mentioned, and this is what we want to relieve, you know, the boredom for, I mean, in our day and age, we didn't even have mobile phones, so all we used to do all day was we used to go out and play football all day long.
Yeah.
Or we used to play marbles on the street, or we used to have a couple of fights, you know what I mean? that was,
That's true.
there's no GBH in them days.
No,
you
there
know.
wasn't.
If you go home, in our day, especially my father, if I came home, got beaten up, my father would beat me up even more.
Even more, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I tell you what, I was lucky me really, because nobody ever picked on me because I was that small.
So Halloween 21, mashallah, brothers, Nabi Raza, mashallah, Supi, plumbing, alhamdulillah, gets our children off the streets, involved in haram, into activities, learning skills and gaining confidence in life. Asad. So brother Asad, mashallah, thank you for the kind words. What he's mentioning here is that he gets the kids off the streets, put them onto the right track, you know, and it's helping them a lot, you know. So this is absolutely amazing. Okay, so there's yes, Haji Emi, this is an amazing show. Hamid Raza, the bot, inspirational and good advice. Khalid bin Walid, well, I faced racism at my local mosque, and it's just too many. I can't.
Wow.
You know,
Really?
Hassan Ahmed, inshallah, your fruitful results. Maz 147, yes, Mamu Imi, mashallah.
Yeah, that's Mahir from Accrington who came to the Doncaster retreat, my nephew.
Ish Hussain, mashallah. So we're gonna.
That's Ish Hussain from, Heavenly Desserts.
Yeah.
You know what?
Heavenly desserts, mashallah. Nice, tasty desserts.
Yeah.
We should have called it the Imi Show.
Imi show.
Everyone knows Imi.
So I want to ask about like, you know, the youth, like for example, they're into the like, you know, PlayStation 4s and 5s, and they get to play GTAs. You know, do you think, you know, games like GTA, Grand Theft Auto, where they're robbing people, about gangster life and stuff like this, do you think that has an effect mentally where the youth, because it's supposed to be 18 plus, but even the youth of 12, 13, they bought GTA and they're playing GTA. Do you think that has an you know, effect on their minds as well?
Yeah, because...
And especially watching movies 18 plus, which are gangster type movies and stuff.
Well, the whole thing, the title just says it all, doesn't it? Grand Theft Auto, you know what I mean? So when kids are looking at stuff like this or playing at it, it plants a seed in their head, doesn't it? You know, it's like subliminary messages inside their head. So as they're getting older, they think it's right.
You know what it is, when we were kids, you know, I still play computer games, don't get me wrong, when I have time anyway, which I don't have much anymore. But when we were kids, you know, we all played computer games, but we'd go back to normality and play with our friends. A lot of the kids now, it's like 24/7. They finish school, get on the computer game. They'll go probably to the mosque, get straight back on the computer game. And that, you know, that influence of violence continuously all the time, 24/7, swearing so much. You know, you play one session of Call of Duty with a few 12-year-olds, you'll hear swears you never heard of. You know, honestly, it's just crazy. And we've had parents contacting us where, you know, top to bottom, the whole house is hearing one individual in his bedroom in the corner somewhere, just swearing.
Wow.
Just looking at a screen with people across the world he doesn't know, just swearing.
Yeah. So it does affect them, like Brother Imi is mentioning, you know.
Sorry, I'm just sending this link to somebody.
Yeah, I think we're really coming to the end of it. You should have sent it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it does affect them. So they should, the parents should play a role in limiting their time as well, isn't it? You know, on social media.
Yeah, because it's a form of discipline, isn't it? That's a bit like when, you know, like when we had to come in at night. Because we'd only come in at night when the street lamps used to come on, you know what I mean? So we knew like certain...
Well, the next day or the same day?
No, the same night. You know what I mean? So you've got to put like certain plans in place, haven't you?
Yeah. And you know, like for example, the youth today, are they under a lot of pressure as well? For example, to perform, like peer pressure from like the parents, like for example, in terms of education, they need to get the highest grades, and when they even attend madrasa, then they want their children to be the best and be at the top.
Well, I think...
Do you think that puts a lot of pressure onto them, which has a negative effect rather than a positive
Sometimes,
effect?
you know, what can happen is, right, any culture, you know, like certain individual parents expect too much of them. You've got to be a doctor, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, but at the end of the day, you've got to let that child do whatever's best for them.
Yeah.
You know, and the peer pressures when it comes to messing around and getting into drugs and X, Y, Z, a lot of that is through social media now with friends and stuff like that, when they're like posting like certain pictures up and what they're doing and that. So you got two types of peer pressures. One's from your parents, who are not letting you do what you want to do, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And then one you've got from your friends, getting up to no good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think more than peer pressure or more than any pressure, I think that many young children from a young age are being molded, you know, by certain avenues around them. For example, if you're a young boy now, for example, a young boy, you want to marry a girl. The young girl expects you to have a house, a car, a body like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, like a bodybuilder. No, this is the truth. This is the truth. This
And
is
you
the
get
truth.
somebody like me.
You know, you look, got a body like
He's
him.
built like a toothpick.
No. And, you know, you look amazing, you look great. Apparently, you're supposed to have 3 to 4 holidays per year. And, you know, all the bills are sorted and everything else. And, you know, you're expecting this from a 20...
And you know, another thing as well, what don't help, you know, in the society, like with the drug dealing and like people taking balloons on the street corners and smoking weed and doing this, that, the other, you know, the society's letting it go as if like it's all right, but it's not, because the thing is, people need to speak out. Because what it is, all right, from where I live in Great Ormond, I know 2 young lads. I've got a daughter who's 15 years old. Yeah. I know 2 young boys. They've recently been in, I don't know how to call it now, you know, like a mental ward, you know, like they've had like mental issues and stuff like this. Until like the society doesn't speak up about this, there's not much happening, is there?
Yeah, because those mental issues that we talk about, you're going to go to someone who, no offense to, you know, mental health professionals or anything, but the truth is you're going to send someone in there who's going to tick boxes. That's through my experience. Is
Yeah, no, but before all that though, before that though, Tariq, right, the society, you know, like the people in the area, they need to speak up when all this drugs and X, Y, Z is happening, because everybody's turning a blind eye now. It wasn't like this 5-10 years ago.
I think in the Asian culture, yeah, Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, and culture like this, what they tend to do is, if somebody is genuinely mentally ill, they tend to hide it.
Yeah, because
you know what I mean? They try to brush it underneath the carpet.
That's very true.
And they don't address the situation.
Yeah, because they're very uneducated towards that. But the thing is,
because once you're labelled,
because these young kids,
you're labelled for life.
Oh yeah, but the thing is though, you know, like what's happening now though, Brother Shabs, you know, when people are taking drugs blatantly now, till the elders don't speak up, because remember, taking drugs is a fashion. Right, when the younger lot see it, they think it's cool. You know, some drug dealer's driving around with a fancy car, he's got a joint in his mouth, you know, and extra. So kids look up to certain things, but till the area, like within the society, till they don't acknowledge that and trying to brush it to one side, it's gonna, like, more and more drug addicts are being born. There's going to be more people who are going to be going into the mental hospitals and stuff like that. And it's a waste of life. You know what I mean? It's a waste of
to be
everything,
honest,
innit, you know.
I think more than anything, it's become like a vacuum. It's become a vicious circle. Many of the people who are young who do drugs, you know, those people who you're doing drugs with, they are not your friends.
You know, people say, oh, we want to free Palestine and that, but free your own area.
No,
first of all, you know what I mean? Because charity starts from at home, you know what I mean?
I think even more than that, free yourself.
Exactly, free yourself,
free
you know
yourself,
what I mean?
You know,
know who you are as a person.
I know people who will, you know, they stay up till 5 in the morning.
Offer something in regards to free themselves.
Yes.
Right, sorry.
What do they offer?
Yes.
Right.
How we do it is, especially with the youth,
let me finish then.
If obviously someone is a little bit more mature, a little bit more grown up, for example, you've been through university, you're about 24, 25, and you are a bit more stable understanding, then we would basically help you with what we call a prophetic path course to teach you how to stop certain maybe bad habits. Some people have the habit of pornography, some people will have the habit of maybe a drug or alcohol, some people might be beautiful people but they just have a very bad mouth. And with the youth or the more youngster type children, like talking about the 15, 16, 17 year olds, sometimes a little older, sometimes a little younger, with them we do the weekend activities. Once a month we offer Qiyam al-Layl, which will be in one of the community centres or masjids.
What's a Qiyam al-Layl, Brother Tariq?
Qiyam al-Layl is like really in essence it means night of power, but we call it like a weekend sleepover retreat, so that parents understand it. We do that once
a month. Parents are happy.
We do that once a month. Everybody loves a sleepover.
Yeah. We do that once a month. Myself will either be there, or we've got a team of up to about 10 people. We'll always have adults there on site who will sleep there as well and are always readily available. They'll get given breakfast, food, they'll do the activities, and that's once a month every month. Sometimes we'll do a major activity with them. For example, it can be go-karting or something like that. But every 3 months we have what we call a major retreat, or 3 to 4 months. We've done these retreats in Scotland, Wales, London,
Doncaster.
We've done actually we even did one retreat, I think many years ago, to Denmark. I think just under about 70 people came to that, and it was brilliant. It was really brilliant. I went as well. I was one of the people who participated. It was amazing. So yeah, we do a lot of these retreats, and the retreats, what we do in those major retreats, like every 3-4 months, we take them away, they stay for the weekend. It's usually about £100, to be honest.
Because with these retreats, so it makes like the children vigilant, like about being groomed. You know, like when it comes to doing like drug dealing and X, Y, Z. Because I've known for young kids and that who are actually like selling drugs for the elder lot.
Yeah, because a lot of those youngsters, if you're a drug dealer and you're selling even a proper drug dealer, you're selling 10 kilos of drugs. Only the 10th kilo of that drug is your money. The other 9 is what you need to sell to give that money back. The 10th one is your profit. If you lose, out of all 10 of those kilos, you get robbed, you lose one, you overspend, you know, you don't know what you're doing properly, Even if you lose that money in that 10th kilo, now you're in debt. So now you have to backtrack your money to owe someone else money who's a bigger drug dealer, who eventually, if you don't pay him his money, you can land yourself in it. And it's happened to people. You know, you're not the first.
And that's when they start using the young kids just to sell for them, so they're getting them just to make their money.
And the young kids who are selling for them are making the same wage as someone who works in Asda, Tesco,
yeah, of course.
Work at McDonald's. Actually, you'd probably be earning more working at Asda, Tesco, McDonald's.
What we like telling people as well, you know, doing all these like dodgy things is like, it's a waste of talent.
Yeah.
You
so
know?
Parents should watch out. You know, suddenly if your child is coming home, or your youth coming home with like nice clothes, nice cars, and they're not even working.
I think more than anything, if you're a parent, don't let your child get away with it from the start. If you knowingly know that your children are smoking weed, and no parent is stupid. Look, I've got a mother. When I was young and foolish, or anyone was young and foolish, I don't know any mother in the world who doesn't know what her son's doing. She searches his pockets, she washes his clothes, she puts food on the table, she cleans his bed, she knows.
And the pupils as well, isn't it?
Yeah, when people smoking marijuana, nowadays they put drops in and all sorts, you know, even the pharmacists have become advanced. they help the kids hide it even more, you know, a bit of a spray that they have and that's it, they're going home, you know.
So, obviously we've only got like 5 minutes before we wrap up. I wish we had more time. This has been very, very entertaining as well. There are a couple of things I wanted to say that I've not managed to say as well, you know. But in terms of like, I want to say one thing is that like we have youth for the young brothers, you know, male, we do have the same setup for the sisters as well, for the women. So Prophetic Path Girls, I think they called. So they've got a Facebook page, and you have a Facebook page as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Prophetic Path Youth.
And the thing is, anybody and everybody, no matter what age, everybody's allowed to come and get involved. You know, because you know if it means like it's like there's free counselling and stuff like this, ain't there? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So PP Youth Girls. They had an event today as well, online event, and PP Youth Brothers, is it? PP Youth, Property Path Youth for the brothers. So they cater both sides, so it's not just one. So entertainment for both ends. And lastly, I wanted to ask about like funding. I know that you don't get funding, and a lot of the money is basically brothers or yourself chipping in, you know, to pay for these activities.
Yeah.
Now, if you had funding, how would you go about utilizing these funds? You know, like, would you have a Prophetic Path in every city in the UK, you know, and set up an organization there to help the youth around not just Bolton. Obviously, the base at the moment is just in Bolton, but would you consider this as well if you had the right amount of funding?
If people are serious and obviously themselves they are willing to donate, or we can get funding or get more funding.
We want it to spread, don't we?
As long as the work's available, we are more than happy to save anyone's son and daughter, etc.
And all this is happening that we're using our time, you know, we're using other things, you know, just to do it all on our own backs, just to help others.
So anybody, for the viewers, anybody can set up PP Youth in their town and city if they just have to have that type of, like, if they want to do something for the community, they can set it up and you'll come and help them set up PP Youth in their own
We're
town and
happy
city.
to set up PP Youth in their community, but like I said, we have a Prophetic Path course. Now the reason is we can't expect someone who says, brother, I want to become a youth worker and I want to start doing youth work, but himself he drinks alcohol on Friday night. It's not the image that we present or the image that we put forward.
Or he's swearing, or you know,
we're not going to accept those.
You know, he's rude towards others. You can't do that because you've got to go through like certain channels. Just
so
to
would they
get
get trained up anyway?
We would offer them training, a minimum, I would say, of 3 months at least, to have the right mindset to deal with the certain right issues, and it can be anyone. The best people I've ever met in my entire life who give the best dawah on the streets, helping other people, are people who come from background of being drug dealers, gangster type people or fraudsters, or they are the best people ever. It's not because, you know, they've done, you know, all the stuff and then they've moved forward to giving dawah. It's because they understand how it feels when it's ugly.
Okay, so inshallah we're going to end it soon, but we want to bring one brother inside. He's one of our youth workers as well. Would you give him space?
Yeah.
He's a big lad.
Come on, just jump in. Yeah.
He deserves to be here, to be honest.
This
Absolutely.
is Brother Rahim, mashallah, and
I'll give a speaker.
look, he's a big youth, but mashallah, he's one of our youth workers, and he's always like helping, giving his time Saturday, Sunday, you know, both days, and he's always at the forefront, organising, helping, and mashallah. So obviously he's come with us as well to support us. So we thought, you know, we'll bring him and, you know, introduce you to him as well, mashallah. So he came from the youth setup as well. So he came from the youth setup. So originally he was only young. How old were you? About 12?
12.
Yeah, he was about 12. How old are you now?
19.
19, yeah. So from 12 to 19, he came through the youth setup. And now, not only he participated in the events, you know, I remember his mum knocking on my door and saying, can my son, you know, join the youth programs? We said, yeah, no problem. They can come anytime he wants, yeah. Then he started coming, mashallah. And then you look at him now, not only, you know, mashallah, he's practicing himself and, you know, he's helping organize the youth events, you know, on a weekly basis as well. So, any last words? Quick, one sentence each, if you want to say anything.
I would say Prophetic Path Youth summarized in 3 simple lines. It is for a person to think like the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is for a person to use their body in the way that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would use their body, meaning the eyes, the tongue, the ears, etc. And it is for a person to develop themselves and have the inward qualities that the Prophet ﷺ had in their blessed physical life in this world. So that's basically what Prophetic Path is, to turn that person into a shadow image or following of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ.
Any words, Rahim, Imi? Oh, sure.
Well, if you think good things happen. That's all I can say.
MashaAllah. So inshallah, we're going to close the podcast show now, inshallah. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you all for watching.
Thank you all for watching, yeah. And hope to see you on our next podcast, which might be in a few weeks' time, inshallah. But you know, you can message on the YouTube or the PP Facebook page as well. If anybody wants to help, anybody wants to join, or anybody wants to set it up in their own town and city, Brother Tariq and his team is more than willing to help, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Don't